Well,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
yeah, hi, good evening to all the participants.
Good evening. Good evening.
So, yesterday was a long session. So, any questions if you have from the last session, we can take them first. Otherwise, we can go ahead. So, if there are any questions, please share. No questions? Hello.
Good evening, Prashant ji.
Just a minute. I'm getting a technical issue here. So, now is it visible properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So today we are going to start with a very important topic on the security policy because yesterday like we have talked about risk assessment and we have talked about risk management. But just tell me one thing: can we do a risk management or risk assessment without any policy? Because until unless we do not have any policy to start with, we cannot do that, because in our organization everything should be approved by the management, and especially like we are mostly participants from the government sector only, so it's a regulatory framework required to go ahead with any type of work to do and on the critical infrastructure specifically. So if you want to do any type of risk assessment, even if you people are doing any VAPT or something, then also it is observed that somewhere you must got an approval from the management that you can go ahead for VAPT in every 6 or 12 months. So at the end of any event, I would say event, risk assessment or risk management, any type of activity you are doing, it should be undergone under a policy. And today we will going to discuss on the security policy, that how the security policy is important in any organization, how such policies will be adopted, and how we are going to implement these policy. Although sometime when we talk about cyber security, I used to always say basically when we talk about cyber security, there are two different areas of concern. First is a compliance part, and second one is your technical part. So most of the time people are more inclined toward the technical part and very less interest in the compliance part, because when you do the compliance part, you have to go for ISO 27001 compliances. Maybe you have some NIST framework, some COBIT or something other frameworks, but these is also a very important part for any cyber security implementation in your organization. If you remember, I have taken the framework part around 15 days before, if you remember. At that moment of time, I have talked about the importance of cybersecurity framework, that why we require a framework and how the framework will help us. So when we talk about framework, we talk about any type of implementation of any cybersecurity control into your organization. So it's required to have a policy. So what are our today's learning objective? Let us see. So today's our important learning objective is to describe the management's role in the development and maintenance, and of course enforcement of information security policies, because this is very important when you implement any cyber security policy into an organization. The role of a senior management is very important. So, do you remember yesterday we have talked about ISO 27001, and in that specific clause are available where the management role is given a high priority importance in the standard of 27001. That's why we will discuss that what are the management roles in development, maintenance, and enforcement of the information security policies. Also, we will be talking about some little bit of standards. We will be focusing on ISO 27001, and we will be talking on some practices, procedures, and guidelines that how they can help us in creating and formulating good policies. After that, we will explain what an information security blueprint is, how we will going to create a policy for us, what is the roadmap, and we will try to identify the major components of the policy, explain how it supports the information security program. Okay, so I will be dealing the security policy in three different pillars. One is a generic policy, then I will be talking on the case specific policy, and then device specific policy. So in three parts we are going to discuss it. We will be also discussing how an organization shall institutionalize its policies, standards, and practices using the education, training, and awareness programs. Also, we will be talking on the contingency planning. Yesterday also we have talked about the BIA business impact analysis and a little bit about the cyber crisis management plan. In the same way, we will be talking a little bit that how these things will help us in formulating a good IT policy, a good information security policy. So this is our today learning objective. So let us start with our session with this very much informative introduction slide. So information security program begin with policies, standards, and practices. Whenever you want to start information security program, or you can see, or you can say you want to implement a cyber security framework in your organization. So as a foundation, or I would say as a framework, as a framework, you need information security architecture and blueprint. And these architecture and blueprint are nothing but they are basically your roadmap that how you will achieve this standard cybersecurity policies into your organization. Just a minute, just a minute. So now it's properly visible now?
Yes.
Can
Yes, sir.
somebody else? Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah. So we are talking about the cybersecurity framework, about the cybersecurity policies that we are how we are going to draft cybersecurity, or specifically I would say that information security policies into your organization. Okay. So we will going to discuss what type of formulation we can do. Also, we will be talking about coordinated planning is required to create and maintain these elements, because until unless you do not have a proper coordinated planning, because coordinated planning means you have different teams. When you work in a data center, it complies of different type of teams. Like one team is taking after your databases, one is taking after your infrastructure, one team is taking about your networks. So, can you think that without the intervention of all the teams, can a good cybersecurity policy can be implemented? No, you cannot implement and even create a good cybersecurity or information security policy until unless you do not have a good coordinated planning. So, this is also a very important part, I would say, that is required to create a policy framework. Also, strategic planning for the management of allocation of resources, because until unless you do not have a resources, can you think of a scenario that you can build a cyber resilient environment into your organization? No, because can you tell me which is the most important part of any cyber security implementation? What can be the most important part? Anyone?
Resources.
The
Process.
information, any information.
Okay, information and process. Other than that,
Sir, risk
Implementation.
assessment, which is more important, which of it is more important? What should we prioritize?
Priority. Okay, good. Okay, but I'm focusing on resources. That what type of resources you required to implement a good cybersecurity planning into your organization. What can be the resource? Okay, let
Skilled.
me jot down some resources.
Skilled people.
Skilled people,
people,
I mean,
perfect.
knowledgeable.
Perfect. Skilled people, yes. And how you get people getting skilled?
Training, by proper training.
Training, yes, perfect.
Basically,
So
sir,
this is
I
the
think
answer.
basically
Actually, I
PPT
was
process
focusing on
planning and
people.
technology.
That resources are very much important, and most of the times organization forgot to formulate the training part into the cyber security policy. Okay, they are most inclined in purchasing or incorporating the high-end network devices, high-end security devices. Probably you might be knowing that if you have a data center, a lot of sense you are purchasing. Our organization can love to spend 2 crores rupees on a fancy firewall with the NGFW feature, but on the contrary side, if employees require a training of 20 lakhs, they generally do not spend. Do you agree with me? This statement. What you will say?
Yes.
Yes, usually I have seen this. Usually I have seen this. This is my personal opinion. Although nowadays even government organizations are spending a lot, and even private organizations are spending a lot, and this is a proof. Today we are getting this training. We are conducting this training program. I'm also benefiting with you people because somewhere you people are also sharing a lot of good things with me. So resources is a very important part. Then the other fourth important part is contingency planning for the preparation of certain business environment. So basically, in this part, we will be talking about BIA, we will be talking about CCMP, crisis management plan, business impact analysis. So this is the whole analogy that we are going to take in this session, that how we are going to implement. Okay, so let us start with information security planning and governance. Okay. So, can you tell me what can be the initial steps for an information security implementation into your organization? What can be the first step?
Inventory.
Anybody?
Making the inventory.
To train the people.
Okay, to train the people. Other than that,
Security analysis.
okay, let
Asset
me jot
management.
down.
Taking approval.
Identify the asset or the value or information what you want to secure.
Valuation,
Budget allocation.
budget. But one thing is missing. I think some ma'am has talked about approvals.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the most important, I would say, because if you want to do some training, what you required? Approval. If you want to do some analysis, you need to do some approval, and approval will also only given if you have a policy. So the prima facie thing is approval. Approval of what? Approval of a IT policy, I would say, about your planning. A policy is nothing but basically a planning, that how you are going to plan certain activities. So let us see, planning level helps translate organization's strategic plans into tactical objectives. Okay, so how we are going to move? We are going to translate our organizational strategic plans, that these are our strategic plans, and in this way we are going to change and migrate into our target objective. Planning and the CISO. Planning and CISO means your Chief Information Security Officer is the CISO who is taking care of your entire cyber security of your organization. Planning is a very important plan, and information security governance. Governance is playing a pivot role, I would say, into this security planning, because once you have to set of responsibilities and practices exercised by board and executive management. So this is very important. You have to set the responsibilities. Okay. So can you refer yesterday when we are talking about ISO 27001? This is again and again talking that management role is a very important part if you want to implement ISO 27001 into your organization. Also, goals to provide strategic direction, establishment of objectives, and measurement of progress towards objective. That what are your objective, and for achieving that objective, what can be the strategic direction. So we are getting two things here. We have some objectives, and to achieve it, what we require? We require some directions. Okay, for achieving the objective, we require some directions, and I have told a few things yesterday about the objectives. Can somebody recall that five important parts of any objective? One is achievable.
Smart,
Do you people remember?
measurable,
Measurable,
achievable,
achievable.
and time bound.
Okay, so you might be remembering. So these that five important parts are basically your or are your they are not directly part of the objectives, but they can be termed as an attribute of your objectives, because until unless your objectives are non achievable. Okay, if your objectives are non achievable, then in that case you are not going to uh, 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 you do not able to reach your goals, you do not able to achieve your objectives. So end of the day you will going to face a failure. So that's why important pillar is that your effort should be measurable and achievable. Also verifies validate the risk management practices are appropriate and asset used properly. Because can you tell me at what point I am focusing on? It's basically valuation of asset. We have talked about valuation of asset yesterday. So this is the same point. It is talking about valuation of asset. You must value the asset properly. That's why that it is written assets used properly. So valuation will tell you that how you are going to talk about that future. If you remember, I have discussed the example with you. Let us suppose this is a server, and it can be configured in three ways. It can be configured in a DNS, it can be configured as a DHCP server, or it can be configured as a web server. So as we have discussed yesterday, the DHCP server has a very low value, very low asset value in comparison to DNS or web server. So this is very important, that how you are going to talk about it, about the valuation of any asset. Okay, then information security planning and governance. The other important security governance outcomes are that is about your strategic alignment, that is about your risk management. So these are the five basically outcomes that you will be going to measure, or you going to achieve when you create a information security planning and governance. That is a strategic alignment, that how you are strategically going to implement the cyber resilience into your environment, into your physical and into your network environment. Also it is talking about risk management as we are going to discuss. So this is one of the goal in of that policy framework. Then we have a resource management, so that we can allot the resource, that how much resource is going to act on what particular domain, and how they are going to help us. Then we have a performance measurement, because until unless we do not have a proper controls to measure our efforts, then it's very hard to reach the goals. Then we have a value delivery. What value delivery means? Our production should be up. Our production should be up. We have high uptime. Any more value delivery you can tell me? Anybody want to add on to this list? Can we achieve our goal as reducing the downtime? Yes or no? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. When you people do not answer, no, I thought that I got disconnected. No issues. So these are the 5 important governance outcome. Okay, so let us talk about some very important part. Yesterday I have also talked about these things. Uh, can anybody tell which functional role I have discussed yesterday? Which functional role I have discussed yesterday? There are a lot of functional roles visible on your system.
Enterprise and employees.
Yes, we have discussed about it. Do we discussed about this one when I talked about risk manager?
Yes, sir.
I talked about risk executives. Okay, so whenever we want to implement a cyber security or a information security policy into the environment, into your organization, so these are the important functional roles, and these are the related responsibility with it. Okay, so we will going to discuss the important functional roles, that what are the important roles of a CISO, okay, Chief Executive Officer, or something. Basically, this is not CISO. You can take it as a like your chairman or something. Chairman, your CMD or something. So basically, the hierarchy is something that CMD, then CISO, and then you have a CISO or something. So this kind of hierarchy usually happens. So in this case, what hierarchy we are using? We are using Chief Executive Officer. It can be your CEO, it can be your CMD, it can be your chairman. So basically, Chief Executive Officer is the highest level of officer into your organization, and maybe it's a IS officer or it's a chief engineer or something, and who is having these particular responsibilities. So what can be the brief responsibilities of the chief executive officer? To manage the overall corporate security posture into the organization, and he is accountable to the board. Also, he will be briefing the board members, customers, public, because he is the person who is going to handle the government. Because if some issue happen into your organization, then probably your CISO is not going to be present in front of ministers or something. Your chief executive officer, your chairman should be the part of it. So it is the role of a chief executive officer, your chairman or CMD, to look after it, because this is like your image into the public. So he will be taking care of it, and this is the responsibility of him only, to take care of the entire cybersecurity framework and cybersecurity implementation into your organization. Then we have some certain specific people into the organization who are talking about it. You have a chief security officer, chief information officer. Nowadays what is happening, these two persons are working in a same capacity. Then we used to call it as a CISO, okay, chief information security officer. But if your organization is already very large, so what you can do is you can have two different post, two different people are working on different positions. But as per the CA guidelines, there should be a CISO. Okay, so this is a mandate to appoint a CISO into your organization. Also, there is a separate post, a CISO. Okay, that is alternate Chief Information Security Officer, and it can be at par level with the CISO. But he will operate in the absence of CISO. So in case CISO is absent due to some emergency or something, so a CISO will work as a CISO. So these can be the important posts. Then the third one is your chief risk officer. As we have already discussed yesterday, whenever you want to do some risk assessment or risk management, so you need to have a dedicated team for the risk officer. Because now, if you remember to this slide, you can, if you remember this slide, there are basically two areas of concern. One is a compliance, and another vision, one is a technical. So a person who is having a good information of compliance, a good information of technical, so that person can only do a risk assessment. Do you think I am right or wrong?
Right.
What do you people think?
Right, sir. Right.
Because until unless if a person is just having a good knowledge of ISO and he do not know anything about the VAPT, how the nmap is working, how the cryptography is working, how the technological things are working, what are firewalls, and what are zoning, segmentation, network architecture. So this is very important. So maybe your CISO is not having that much empowered to handle the technical things. Your compliance part, maybe CISO is not taking care of, but the risk manager part, the risk assessment part is a very important part. So a dedicated person, at least one person should be there who should take care of your risk part. Okay, then we have some department agency head who will be taking of the care of their particular department. So what are the major responsibilities for these particular designations are, as you can see, set security policies, procedures, program training for the company. So this is the part of these people to create the procedures to take care of your cyber security framework, and they will be setting up the security policy. Okay, they are just setting up the security policy. So who will be approving the security policy? Can anybody tell? Who will be the approver?
Sis. Sisu.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
CEO will be the approver.
Yeah, you are, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, your voice is not there.
Am I not audible?
Hello.
Am I not audible?
Audible,
You
sir.
are audible.
I think some participant is saying I am not audible. Maybe he has having some local issue. Okay, so what is happening? The policy is framed by CISO with the help of the mid-level managers, with the help of mid-level managers, with the help of enterprise staff employees, and they will be producing that policy to the chairmen or to the board of directors uh, for the approval. Because end of the day, the higher management should be having enough knowledge about the security framework, that how the things are working and how the policies are being framed. So this is very important. The part and parcel of any security policy or any security event should be approved by the senior management. Then they have what the other duties they have. They need to respond to security breaches. Okay, if there is any security breach, like you have some malicious communication observed, you have some hacking incident observed, or some other intrusion is there, uh, so to investigate, mitigate, and to litigate. So this is a very important thing, to litigate, because as per IT Act 2008, if there is any hacking or something happen, so it should be reported to CERT. Plus, if any financial losses are happen due to that, so you need to also get it be go to the police station and lodge an FIR and something. So litigation is also an important part. So you can do the investigation, you can do the forensic investigation, you can do the network investigation, you can even mitigate the thing. But litigation is also important part. So all the senior officers are responsible for this. Then the other important area of concern is responsible for independent annual audit coordination, because this is very important.
Hello, am I audible,
Because
sir?
yeah, you are audible. Please go ahead.
No, why? Hello. Your voice is not there, sir.
Sir, I think
Hello.
there is some issue at your end, because other participants are able to hear me, sir.
Yes, we are able to hear. No issue there.
Yeah, sir,
Yes,
please
sir. We are
check.
able.
Please check at your end, sir. Okay, so other important part, as you can see, is about annual audit coordination. Okay, so what is annual audit coordination? We used to say is AAC. Okay, so let me give you an example that will make you clear about the annual audit coordination. Let us suppose there are two independent data centers. One is a DC and one is a DR. Okay, and they are replicating the same data all the times. So usually you have a separate team for DC and separate team for DR. Okay. So do you think at the same time the VAPT shall be conducted at both the stations or not?
No, sir.
No, because during the VAPT, there is always a chance that during the penetration testing, your server may got disrupted, your services may got disrupted. Okay. So what you can do at the time of DC, if you are doing a VAPT, you take utmost care of your DR, and in case of DR, you are doing VAPT, you take utmost care of your DC. So this is nothing but your annual audit coordinations, that if you are doing the audits, you must coordinate between the different parties. Also, let us suppose if there any risk management team is there, RMT team is there, and they are assessing the risk, they are running some tools, they are inventorying something. So in that cases, it is very important to have a coordination between the different stakeholders. Okay, and this thing is a part which can be done from on the part of senior officers, or it can be done on the level of middle level manager, that is implement, audit, enforce, assess the compliances. And what can be the compliances? ISO 27001 can be your compliance, or some local regulatory compliance, or I would say, if you have some policy, your internal policy is there, so that can also becoming a compliance at your end. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you have uh, only the ISO as a compliance. Your internal security policy will become so rigid if you make it in a good manner, that it is also become a compliance for you. Okay, then for a mid-level manager, so this activity can be done by the mid-level managers. Also, the other part that is important for the mid-level managers are, that is communicate policies and programs, because until unless the end user, so this is the end user, enterprise staff and employees, so if they do not have the policies of your organization, do you think that you can enforce them? No, you cannot enforce them, because enforcement can only be done if that person is knowing about something. Okay, if person is not knowing anything about, he doesn't know, he does not get any communication that in every 15 days you need to change the password, but your password policy, that is a written document, is saying that in every 15 days you need to change the password, and how you can punish that person, how you going to give a letter to that person, yet you have not changed. So communicating policies, and to the lower people, to even to the higher management, because sometimes these the many senior people are not usually tech savvy, I would say. Probably they are from electrical background or civil background, so we need to make them people aware about the IT things, that sir, this is the policy. So it is duty of each and everyone, the mid-level managers and all, to take care of. Second important part is implementation of the policy, because these people are the one who going to implement the policy. Okay, like if I talk about in India, who is going to create a law? Who is the law making body? Tell me.
Parliament, sir.
Parliament. Okay, so parliamentary law is a law making body. So do you think parliament is going to enforce that law?
Has to be enforced by an
Who is the person who is enforcing? They are executives.
executive.
है ना?
Yes,
They
sir.
are executive basically. So in the same way, these officers, these higher level officers are the parliament. They are the law making body, and these are basically the executive mid-level managers and entire officer who are executing that policies into our organization. Okay. Any questions in this? Any questions in this? Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Right.
sir.
So can I go ahead?
Yes,
No
yes.
questions in this, na?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So let's move ahead. So now I will be talking about what are the issues that you may face when you are creating a security policies, and what are the important points you need to take care of. So important point is that management from communities of interest must make policies the basis for all information security Security planning, design and deployment. Also, policy direct how issues should be addressed and technologies used. Policies should never contradict law. This is a very important part. The policy should not contradict with the law, because sometime when you are formulating the policies, you create such a thing that is contradicting with your local law. So in that case, policies should not contradict with the local law and must be able to stand up in court and must be properly administered. So what is the base for that? So I would request to you must refer to the IT Act 2008. Okay, and if I got time someday, and CBIP people will put a lecture on this, so I will be taking a lecture. I would love to take a lecture on this IT Act 2008. So I will guide you and tell you there are a lot of sections available in this act that is really helpful and must be known to every IT person and each and every cyber security professional, so that he can take care of the local regulation and so that you do not contradict with the local law. Also, security policies are the least expensive controls to execute but most difficult to implement properly. Okay, so anybody can give example about this statement? I am expecting a very simple example on that. I know you people are already got tired after a long day of office, but I wish to get everybody's
Sir,
participation
password
in the
change
class.
and difficult to implement. Sir, simple is password change.
Yeah, password thing.
Difficult change.
So it's a very simple thing to change the password in every 15 days. Do this thing cost anything? Does this cost anything?
No.
But I think this is the hardest thing to implement. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so security policies are the least expensive controls to execute, most difficult to implement. Okay, like if when we're talking about the device security policies and we are creating a rule that MZ to DMZ is not allowed. Okay, it is not costing anything, but to ensuring this thing is really very important, because sometime people want to get access from MZ to DMZ, and they just create a rule just for 5 to 10 minutes and they forget to disable the rule, and the rule is still running. So these are the small things you can see. So this is very important. Also, policy will be the foundation for the entire planning you are doing, because it is very important to understand that your policy is something, a dictionary or something, you can say a bible for your organization, who and all the rules and regulation about your IT, about your OT, how IT will talk to OT, how you are going to configure a firewall, what are the training schedules, which type of employees are going to send for a training, what is the minimum mandate for a training. So these are very important part, and policy as a foundation of planning is a very important thing to discuss. So policy functions are organization law that dictates acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Okay, so this is a very important term, organizational law. Okay, this is a very important term because, as I have already told, that it is becoming mandate for you. Okay, and law can only be useful when it's become a mandate. So your policy will becoming a mandate because it is becoming your organization law. Also, standards will be helping because more detailed statement of what must be done to comply with policy. Because whenever you are formulating a policy, so you must refer to the standards, and what you can do, you can just refer the clauses and controls directly into the you can say policy, so that in case some changes in the clauses by the standard maker, so you do not have to change the policy again and again. Okay, also the practices, procedure and guidelines should be effectively explained how to comply with the policy. So this is the very important part of any policy, that how to comply, and it should be properly explained, because you have created some practices, you have created some procedures, you have created some guidelines, but until unless you do not explain them well, you cannot actually feel that it is rolling out into your security environment. So this is very important. Also, for a policy to be effective, it must be properly disseminated, read, understood, and agreed to by all members of the organization and uniformly enforced. Okay, so it should not be done in a way that the senior officers, YouTube will be allowed for senior officers and YouTube will not be allowed for the junior officers. So this should not be the way. It should be uniformly enforced. Although there are certain restrictions for a domain specific people, but I would say you must enforce a policy in such a way so that all the stakeholders into the organization, because there are a lot of pupils, a lot of different stakeholders, like you have a procurement wing, then you have a HR wing, then you have a security wing. Even in the IT we have different type of wings. You have infra, you have database, you have application wing also. So in this way you have to take care of the thing that all the stakeholders are uniformly enforcing this policy into their departments. Okay, so let us talk about this very interesting figure that is put here, because policies are the very important part of any organization, and policies are to be sanctioned by management, and policies are covering some part of standards. Okay, what standards? They are helping you in detailing the minimum specification for compliance, and every standards must be complying to some guidelines, that is recommendation for compliance. And these guidelines, standard and policies, all these will be becoming the procedures that will be helping out to implement the same into your organization. So basically it's a step by step instruction for your compliance, and you need to take care of the thing that all the policy standard and guidelines should be implemented in a rollout way from upside to down. Because if you create the guidelines first, then you create the standard first, basis on that you're going to create the policies, then I don't think so it's much useful. You must create a standard policy, and on that basis of policy you can adopt lot of standards what are going to be the part of it. Okay, so we will be talking certain things about different type of policies. So let us start with the enterprise information security policy. Then after that we will be talking about some issue specific security policy, and then we will be talking about component specific security policy. Okay, so basically I have divided these policies into three important parts. So let us see one by one. So what is the enterprise information security policy? When you are setting the strategic direction, when you are setting the scope, you are setting up the tone for all the security efforts within the organization, means you are rolling out the rules throughout the organization. It doesn't going to change for a particular division, or it does not going to change for certain particular event. So the generic policy, the superset of a policy, we used to call it as a EISP, Enterprise Information Security Policy. So it's basically an executive level document and usually drafted by or with Chief Information Officer of the organization, or Chief Information Security Officer, I would say. Typically addresses compliance in two areas. So what are the two areas of concern in which this CISP is taking care of? The first is general compliance to ensure meeting of requirement to establishing, programming and assigning responsibility therein to various organization components. So this is very important. You must establish program and assign the responsibilities. So responsibility assignment is basically we used to take it as a part of EISP, and use of specific penalties and disciplinary action, because until and unless you do not include this specific penalties, do you think that any policy can be enforced if you do not add a specific penalties and disciplinary action? What do people think? Share.
No, sir.
Not required.
Do you think it should be the part of policy or not?
Yes, sir. Very
It
much
should be
required.
Yes,
part.
sir.
But sometimes what I personally feel is uh, in government organization specifically, I would say the policies are created in big boardrooms, but they are not rolled out into the lower offices to the lower people. Even I would say each and every person in an organization, other than your security guards and all, they are working on PCs. Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
And in
Yes.
that case,
sir.
if you create some disciplinary and penalty provisions, and you have not done enough efforts so that everybody should be knowing about that policy, security procedures, so it's very hard for them to face that penalties, because the senior management will penalize them, and actually they are not aware about these things. So I personally say that penalties should be there, but there should be enough awareness among the employees that these are the minimum controls they need to implement, they need to follow, and if they are not following it, then only the penalties will be imposed. Also, on the contrary part, the person who is responsible for implementing the control, the person who is going to state, if you remember this slide, let me go to that. Yeah, if there is a very important thing I have mentioned here also, communicate policies. Okay, so the mid-level manager who is going to communicate the policy, he is also very much responsible for this. So penalties should be there, but always keep in mind that you should communicate your policies well, because if any case you are not communicating well, I don't think so that it's a fair decision to penalize a person. What do you think? Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir. Right,
Yeah.
sir.
Right, sir.
No, no other part of the EISP. What's the EISP elements have? What are the bare minimum things? What are the bare minimum requirements the EISP should include? So your enterprise information security must include overview of the corporate security philosophy. Okay. So what is a security philosophy is, when we are talking about security philosophy, they can be different type of security philosophy. One is like end to end. Okay, in this end-to-end security philosophy, the organization want to take care of entire security at its own. Okay, and the other type of philosophy is sharing philosophy. Okay, in this he will be sharing his specific concern to someone else. Like I have given an example yesterday about the cloud environment. Like we give the virtual machines to AWS, and the security part is taken care by AWS. Okay, so there is two type of philosophy, and there can be a multiple type of philosophies in like a complete transfer of security, or like in this case sharing of security, like end to end. So they can be the multiple ways. So this is very important to take care of the thing that overview of corporate security philosophy should be taken care of. Also, information on the structure of the organization and people in the information security roles, like how the people are doing, how the what is the structure of your organization, and how the people in the information security roles going to be fit in. So that is very important. Also, articulate responsibility for security shared by all members of organization. So this is very important. When you are formulating a EISP, enterprise information security policy, you must articulate the responsibilities, that these are the responsibilities. I am again and again focusing on these things, responsibilities, because at the time of a real issue, everybody is talking about penalties, that who is going to be penalized if this thing not happen. But I would say that if we talk about responsibilities in very initial communication, we are on a better verge actually. So articulating responsibilities for security shared by all members of the organization is a really important part. Then thirdly, we have articulate responsibility for security unique to each role in the organization. Because like we have multiple areas, like we have some HR areas, we have some network team, we have application team. Also, if we talk about power sector, we have some GSS, we have some power procurement cell. So these are different areas of concern. So we have to take care of it, that some role specific responsibilities are also there. So if I talk that every employee in the organization should have bare minimum cyber security training. So who is the person who is going to take care of it? Can anybody share? Who is the person who is going to take care of it? That every person should be trained. So who is the specific department for that?
Sir,
Yeah, HR training, HR and training. So do you think that this is the particular articulated responsibility for this wing only? Okay, so this is a responsibility of HR to give the training to each and every employee about the basics, that this is the basic bare minimum requirement you need to have. Okay, if I talk about network, so who is going to be responsible for correctly implementing the zoning controls into a firewall? Is it the duty of HR or it is the duty of GSS or some network guys? Tell me. Definitely network
Network
guys.
guys.
So
Network guide.
yeah, network guys. So this is very important. So in case you have separate roles into the organization, so which is unique to each role, so you need to give responsibility to them, which is role oriented, which is departmental oriented, I would say. Okay. So what can be the part of EISP? If I talk about like what can be the part of EISP, when we talk about enterprise information security policy, so basically it's having some important parts like statement of purpose. We have then information security elements. Then we have a need for information security. Then so important part is information security responsibilities and roles, reference standards to other information and guidelines. So let us see each and everything so that we can have a better overview over it. So any questions till now? Any questions?
No.
Or we can move ahead.
Yes.
Okay. So what is a statement of purpose? Statement of purpose means that why you are formulating the policy. So you must identify this particular question: what is the policy for, or okay, and why you are formulating the policy. Okay, so why you are formulating the policy, what is the policy for, so that it will provide a framework that help the reader understanding the intent of the documentation. So this is a very important part of any policy: statement of purpose, that why you are formulating this policy. Okay, and this document will identify the elements of a good security policy, explain the need of information security, that why your organization needs an information security. Okay, like if I say you are in such an organization where there is no information technology asset. Okay, you do not have a single computer. Okay, so in that case, do you think that information security policy is needed? Like if I talk about coal mines. Okay, and this is a physical location somewhere. And so, do you think that there is an information security policy needed? Definitely, there is an information security policy needed, but the need for information security policy for a mines and the need of information security policies for a data center are too much different. Okay, so this statement of purpose will help you in finding the exact need for the security policy. Also, it will specify the various categories of information security, that what are the different categories of information security you are going to take care of. What can be the different in categories? Like you can talk about network security, application security, database security, physical security. So these all are the part of the information security. Then you need to identify the information security responsibilities and roles. Again and again, these things are coming, that you need to take care of the information security roles and responsibility. Okay. So also you need to take care of the fact that you need to identify the appropriate levels of security through standards and guidelines, because it is a fact that you do not work in isolation. It is not even it is not suggested to work in isolation. You should work in such a way that some standards you are following, some guidelines you are following. So the document establish an overarching security policy and direction for your company. So basically, if I say that this statement of purpose can be a roadmap. Okay, this can be a roadmap, and this can be your target, that what exactly you want to achieve. Okay, so these two things are very much important. So first component for a EISP is statement of purpose. Then the second important component for the EISP is your information security elements. So what can be the information security elements? So information security elements will be defining the important parts of your policy, like what are the important elements, like your confidentiality is an important element. Okay, your CIA we have already discussed many times. So these all are the important elements of your policy, because when you are processing the data, when you are transmitting the data, storing the data, I have talked about data in transit, data at rest. So all these things are the important elements when we talk about the components. Also, we need to talk about need for information security, that what are the needs of information security and how these requirements will be helping you in legal and ethical obligation. Okay, then the other important parts of a EISP in enterprise information security policy is defining the organization structure designed to support information security within the organization. Also, it will identify, categorize the people with responsibility for information security. That what are the segregated duties for IT department? What are the segregated duties for HR department? What are the maintenance schedules? How you will going to maintain the document? So this is a very important part of it. Also, we will be referring to some standards, to some other guidelines, like I have talked about ISO, we have talked about NAST, we have talked about COVID. So these are the standards, and list other standards that influence the policy. So you need to take care of that also. So these are the basic part of your EISP. So till now we have seen that what can be the important part, and what can be the basically target in the EISP, enterprise specific security policy. So now we are going to talk about the second part, that is the issue specific security policy. Any question this is in this EISP? Any questions in this? Yes or no? Am I audible or not?
No, no questions, sir.
No,
We may
no.
proceed, I think.
Proceed.
Okay, okay.
Sir,
At
you
least
talked
somebody say
about
yes or no, so
penalties.
that I can feel connected with you.
Are there any,
Sir, pardon, I am not able to hear you.
sir? I am Mulmule. You
Yeah,
talked
Mulmula sir.
about penalties.
Yes, sir.
So, any specific guidelines have been issued for imposing penalties in if there is any breach of security policies on the part of various personals or elements, you can say.
Okay. No, sir, actually, if I talk about specifically for the ISO, if I talk about ISO 27001 or COBIT or NIST, they are not specifying any penalties, to be very frank. They are not specifying any penalties, but they are saying that you must having a information security policy, and you must ensuring that the person who is given with a responsibility should follow his responsibility, should be adhering to this responsibility. Actually, penalty word is not directly written anywhere, but if you want to enforce a policy, do you think that if you do not have a written statement of penalty, the people will going to follow it? What do
There
you
should
think,
be
sir?
there should be some written
Yeah,
statements
because
or
the
rules.
thing is that if government will say, that you are advised to wear helmet, or if a government will say you have to wear helmet. So in the advice part, people may or may not. Okay, and most of the time people are not going to wear a helmet. So what government will do? Government will ensure that for the safety of person, they are imposing some penalty that you have to wear this helmet. Otherwise, you are going to be faced with this 500 or 2000 rupees penalty. Okay. So that's why these penalty clauses are very much important. But as I have already said, the important part is that the policy should be properly communicated with the stakeholders. Okay. So is it fine, Mulmula sir? I think your issue is solved. Sir, is it fine, sir? Mulmula sir? Okay, maybe he got disconnected.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, great, sir. Okay, so now we will be talking about issue-specific cyber policy. So what the issue-specific cyber policy is, it is addressing specific areas of technology. It is requires frequent updates, because when you talk about enterprise information security policy, they are not going to require frequent updates. Okay, so you can create a policy and you just have a meeting in any 6 months or 1 year, so that if any changes are required in the main EISP, then you can do that. Okay, so what you can do, but in the case of issue specific security policy, you need to do frequent updates. Also, it contains the statement of organization position on specific issue, because when we talk about the EISP, enterprise information security policy, all the time we are talking on very generic terms. But when we talking about the issue specific security policy, like suppose let us suppose there is a riot in some area, or some local war in some area, some public nuisance is there. So at that moment of time, you will create a issue specific security policy, that this is the issue and we are going to take care of it. Or I would say that let us suppose your servers are running on a Windows 2012 version. Okay, and one fine day you will find that there are a lot of zero-day attacks happening on Windows 2012. So now this zero-day attack will become a specific area of technology, and if there is some specific area of technology, you need to address that specific area in a particular way. So you create a issue specific security policy, that for this particular Windows 2012 issue, we are going to formulate a document, because that document will help you in rolling out the security across the enterprise, across your different data centers. Because if I talk about a small organization where you have a 2 or 3 data centers, it's very easy to roll out the organization, the policy. But if I say an organization is having 300 data centers across India or globe, so it's very hard to roll out the issue across the globe. So through rolling out the proper issue in a proper justified way, what you required, required a issue specific cyber policy and security policy, I would specify. And definitely the same is required of frequent updates, because until unless you do not frequently update the policy, because after some time maybe the zero-day exploits got stopped, but some other issues are there, so you need to talk and sit with your team to frequently update it. Also, the 3 common approaches when creating and managing issue specific cyber policy. First is you can create a number of independent ISPs. Okay, so you can create a number of for every issue you create information security specific policy, or you can create a single comprehensive ISSP document, that you will create a single comprehensive issue specific security policy, and try to embed all the issues in a single. Okay, or you can create a blend of it, that you create some single ISSP and you create a comprehensive, in which some issues are the part of comprehensive and some are still uh, acting on a standalone basis. So it all depends on your organization call, that how your organization is going to achieve it. Okay. Then we have some components of the issue specific cyber policy. The important part is statement of policy. So this is a very important part, because when we have talked about CISSP, your enterprise, EISP, or enterprise information security policy, at that time also we are formulating a statement of policy. So this is a mandatory part for any policy maker, because the statement of policy will tell you about your intention and cause. Okay, that why you are creating and formulating this policy. Then we have authorized access and usage of equipment, that what are the particular usage and access of equipment are required, because this is the issue specific policy. Your whole data center is not going to be the part of it. You need to have a particular area of concern. You going to take care of it, like a particular brand of servers are going to take care of, or a particular operating system is going to take care of. So you need to list and jot down the equipments. Also, you need to ensure prohibited use of equipment. Why it is written prohibited use of equipment? Because probably, let us give me an example. This is your server, and this is running on Windows Server 2012, and this is a NAS. This is a NAS attached to it. So your network team find that this 2012 version is creating a vulnerability in this NAS. Okay, so this 2012 server is a part of usage equipment, but this NAS is going to be the prohibited equipment in this issue specific security policy. Okay, you have to specify it that this equipment is not going to be used with any type of connectivity with the equipment authorized for access in this particular issue specific security policy, because this is very important. Prohibited use of equipment is a very important part. If somebody has confusion in this part, he can ask me again, because this is a very important part while we are creating the issue specific security policy. So is it clear to everyone?
Please repeat once, sir.
Yes or no?
You can repeat once, sir.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you an example. This example I will give you again. Okay. So let us suppose this is a server and it is running on Windows 2012. Okay. Some very fine day you find some 0-day vulnerability. Okay, 0-day vulnerability. Now the network configuration in such a way this server is connected to a NAS. What is a NAS? Network area storage. It is connected to a NAS device. Okay. So, but the 0-day vulnerability is saying that these servers should be isolated from NAS. They should be isolated from any NAS or any SAN devices. So this is a vulnerability. So what you will do while you are formulating the policy, this server is a part of your authorized access, and this NAS will going to be the part of your prohibited access, because if you do not specify this equipment, so the person who is taking care of this may attach this NAS with the server. Okay, so you need to ensure and specifically write the prohibited use of equipment. Understood now?
There's a lot of background noise which we can hear.
Yeah, there is background. Can everybody mute if you are not asking a question, please? Okay, I think they are muted. So who has asked this question? To repeat me.
Yeah, it's me, sir.
So is it clear now?
Yeah, yes.
Sir, Mulmule.
Got it.
Yeah, Mulmule sir. You want to ask something, Mulmule sir?
No, sir, I had asked that question.
Okay, great. Okay, then the other part is system management. You need to manage your system. That what are the systems you are using. Then it should specify the violation of policy. That what policy is you going to violate for some issue specific security policies. Because what happened now when you are creating a policy for some specific issues, maybe you need to violate something, some particular policy. Let me give you an example that you are, as per your policy of your VAPT, in every 6 months you need to do a VAPT. Okay, so your cycle is from 1 January to 30th of June. Okay, so this is a cycle of every VAPT. On 27th June, you find this particular 0-day vulnerability. So, do you think, do you go ahead with the VAPT on 1st of July? Do you think that we should go for a VAPT on 1st of July, or we should close this vulnerability first? Tell
Sir,
me.
close.
We should close. So, are we violating the policy of 6 monthly VAPT? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So, violation of policies are also there because you are violating the violating the standard policy, your enterprise information security policy. So, that's why violation of policy should be the part. Yeah, please, pardon. Anybody want to ask me something? Hello. Sir, kindly mute if you are not asking, sir. I think. Okay. So this is about violation of policies. Then we have policy review and modifications. Okay. Because sometimes if when we are talking about issue specific policy, we require to change some policy. We need to modify the policy. We need to review the policy. Though that should be the component. Also, we should limitations of liability. Okay. What it means limitation of liability? Can somebody tell me? Anybody want to give an example on this limitation of liability? Okay, let me tell you, when you are non-complying a policy, it will create a liability or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So in this case, when you are violating the policy, so there should be a liability generating. There should be a liability generating as per the policy. So there should be limitations of liability. You are relaxing the liability basically. Okay, so this thing should be, you must be relaxing. You must be relaxing the liability that during the particular period, during the particular issue, the person, if he is not adhering to the particular security policy, he not be going to be punished, he not going to penalized, because this is a reason we are going to change our policy, we are delaying with the specified cause. Okay, so these are the important parts. And one more thing, these are the important parts, and they are not actually exhaustive. Okay, they are a lot of more things can be added to it. Okay, so what can be the components of the issue specific cyber policy? Your statement of policy in which you will going to define scope and applicability. Then you have definition of technology address. You have responsibilities. In the authorized access and usage of equipment, you must define the user access, where you must define the fair and responsible use. Also, protection of privacy is a concern. Okay. Then in prohibitive use of equipment, disruptive use, criminal use, offensive. So these can be the prohibitive use. System management is talking about what are the employees monitoring, what you are taking for the virus protection. So these are the important components we have already discussed. Okay. Then we have a different policy that is called system specific security policy. So what we have covered till now, which one? We have covered ISSP, and we have covered, which is the first one? Tell me. EISP. Okay.
General compliance.
And now we have system specific security policy. So if I draw a figure like this, that this is a EISP, and this is the ISSP, and this can be your system specific. So do you agree with this subset and sets I have created? Because your information, your issue specific cyber security or security policy also covering some part of EISSP. And when you are handling any issue, you are specifyingly taking care of some systems. So it is also sharing some common things with the issue specific security policy. So this is a simple analogy I have shown to you people, that the relation between the EISP, ISSP and SYSSP. So let us talk on this system specific cyber security policy. Okay, so system specific cyber security policy or information security policy often function as standard or procedures used when configuring or maintaining firewalls, maintaining systems, I would say, not firewall. Firewall is a part of it, but maintaining system. Okay, so what type of systems you have in your organization? Okay, let me ask you people, what type of systems you have in your organization? When we talk about configuring, what type of equipments you are configuring into your organization? I need everyone's participation in this. Tell me what type of systems you have. We have firewalls,
Firewalls, switches, modem,
switches, and
routers,
routers, and other than that, you
Servers,
configure R2s also.
RTU and PLCs,
You configure PLCs also. What are the other equipment you configure?
Modbus converters,
Yes, Modbus converter. Other than that,
client servers like OPC client,
client servers. Yes,
SCADA
your
server,
SANs. You are configuring SAN. Yes. Okay. And other, there are a lot of devices. So what I want to focus is that there should be a specific policy for each and every equipment, that how you are going to uh, configure the same. For firewall configuration, you should be a specific policy. For switches, you should be a specific policy. For router, you should be a specific policy. In router specific policy, you should be talking that what type of communication it is doing, what type of routing, whether it is using a static route or it is using a dynamic route. So what type of routing are you using? In RTU, what type of communication protocols you are using? You are talking on 101, 104. Also, you must be taking care of backups here. In some other slide, I will be talking detail on this. So these are the important parts. So basically, that your system specific security policy is falling into two groups. One is a managerial guidance and another one is a technical specification. So when you talk about managerial guidelines, your compliance part is there, and also the broader area is basically a part of it. And when you're talking about technical specification, basically the hands-on part, the person who is taking the real configuration on the system will be taking care of. Then other part is that your ACLs, access control list, can restrict access for particular user, computer, time, duration, even a particular file. So this is an example that these type of configuration. So where you configure ACL, tell me, on which level, firewall, switch or router? Tell me,
Pardon, sir, can you repeat the question?
where you implement ACL.
We can implement ACL on firewall as well as switches.
Switches.
Yes. So these are the devices on which you can implement the ACLs. Good. I think we have discussed this thing when we are talking about firewalls, no? Okay. So the other important part are configuring rule policies governed by how a security system react to receive data. Also, your combination can be created about your system specific security policies with your managerial guidance and technical specification. So these are the things that you need to take care of. So the other important part is about your policy management. So we have formulated the policy. We have formulated the policy, but what to do next? Okay, so if you are formulating the policy, what can be the steps? Let us jot down some steps. First, you will formulate, create the policy. Then, what is the second step? Tell me. I wish to have this interactive session, na? What can be the second step?
Implement.
Approval.
Approval. Yes, yes, yes. Approval. Approval is a part. Then,
Implementation, sir.
can you implement
Procedure and
without
guidelines
circulation?
for implementing those policies.
Testing.
Yeah, testing
Audit.
is a part. Testing is an important part. Then, implement or circulation, which should come first?
Circulate first.
Circulation should be last.
No, circulation should be before implementation, na? Because who will going to implement? If a person who is sitting on this workstation doesn't know that you have released a policy, do you think he can implement it? Tell me.
No, sir. Has to be circulated
They will
first.
follow,
He
not
should be made aware.
implement, right?
Then only he will be able to
No, no. If I say
apply those.
that your policy is to change the password in every 15 days. So until and unless you circulate this to each and every employee, do they implement?
So circulation and implementation can be done in parallel.
Yeah, it can be a parallel activity, but if I talk on a broader level, like you put your policy on the website, you share the policy on the WhatsApp groups, you share with your email groups. So implementation is a secondary part, but circulation is important, because if a person is not implementing the policy well, you are penalizing him, that you are not implementing the policy well, so we are going to penalize you. Then he will ask you that, sir, you have not circulated the policy with me. So what I personally say is circulation is an important part also. Is it fine?
Yes, sir. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So if you still have a confusion, we can
Yes,
discuss
sir.
on it. That's not an issue. Okay. So policies must be managed as they constantly change, because updation is an important part. To remain viable, security policies must have a responsible manager, that this person is going to manage the policy. He is going to be the stakeholder to check about the updates. A schedule of reviews should be defined into the policy. Okay, that we are going to update the policy in 6 months. We are going to update the policy in 9 months. So a schedule of reviews should be there. A method for making recommendation for reviews. So this is very important. Anybody can say that this policy is not good, this is the lacuna in this policy, or this should be added in the policy, because when first time you release a policy, there are a lot of stakeholders, and probably you have not covered each and every aspect of your security of your organization, so you might be getting a lot of recommendation for reviewing the policy. So what you can do, you can create a particular method, that this is the way, this is the form or something, or this is on this email you can write us, like yesterday I am telling you, like NIST is going to change in 1.1 and they are migrating to NIST 2.0. So what they have done, they have asked for the public opinion, that we are going to update this framework from 1.1 to 2.0. So in this method you can also do that. Also a policy issuance and revision date should be maintained, because it is a controlled document, and all these important dates, revision dates, when you have issued the date. So on the very first page or second page you can create a table like this, like you can write version number and date. So this is 1.0 version, one date, 1.1 version, one date. And if you find some major changes, then you can even change the version number and check with some new dates. Okay, so for minor, I would recommend to follow a particular nomenclature 1.1, 1.2. But if you have a change, a major change is there, so you can change to the newer version. Okay, like in NIST, they have in 1.0 they have initial version, then they have 1.1 version currently. But as I've told you earlier, they have 5 functions, but now they have added one more function, and 6 functions are going to be there. So that's why they are releasing 2.0, because this is changing the whole structure of the framework. In the same way, if you find that the whole structure of the policy is going to be changed, so then you can change the entire version. Okay, and you can also automate the policy management, that if some reviews are there, you can automate into your environment. Okay. So I will talking about little bit about the ISO 27000 series. Yesterday I have talked about ISO 27001, 27002. But since policy framing is an important part of for any organization, and for framing the policy, this is very important to learn that what are the basic frameworks that can be helpful to you. So before starting this, I would love to ask if there are any questions till now, so that I can take care of. So we have studied about 3 type of policies. Uh, One is a generic policy, which we used to call it as a enterprise information security policy. Then we have issue specific. Then we have a system specific, or you can say it as a device specific. I think that is clear to everybody. The 3 type of policies we have. I would like to ask that what type of policies you have implemented into your organization. I want 2, 3 participants to at least tell me what type of policies do you have, so that other participants can also be benefited. I wish to that people should participate, that how they are doing, what type of policies do they have, and what are the practices they are following, how frequently they are updating their policies. Anyone can speak. Let it be an interactive session. I am telling you again and again. Tell me about your policy, how you are doing with your policies, or what issues you are facing with your policies. Nobody? Okay, no issues. So we'll be talking about ISO 27000 series. So we'll be talking about like why it is required, because it is one of the most widely referenced security models. Also, standard framework for information security, which is focusing to create a security policy, is an important part. Also, it is needed to
Prashant
provide.
ji,
Yeah, please.
can I update? So we've implemented ISO
Sure, you
27001
sir.
in our
You sure share.
organization,
Please share
and
your.
there are a lot of policy. Actually, it's a honestly very hectic and exhaustive, policy draft activity which one has to go through while implementing ISO. So
Mm-hmm.
we've got multiple policies almost, and all the policies as well as SOPs we have to create. So in our organization, we have created 19 policies.
Just share your
Uh,
organization name also.
it's in India Grid Trust.
Okay, okay.
So like, should I name it those policy or
Sure. It would
count
be
it?
definitely be benefited for each and everyone participants.
Sure. So it's like, we have created 2 umbrella policy,
Okay.
and like information security and IT policies are the umbrella policies, and under that there's almost 17 policy which we have created, like information asset classification policy and procedure, and
Mm-hmm.
then risk assessment and risk treatment procedure, ISMS manual, information security policy, VAPT management policy, log management policy, business continuity policy, acceptable use of asset policy, network control policy, um, physical and environmental security policy, backup and restoration,
Okay.
logical access policy, uh, mobile device management policy, MDM policy, uh, we have a password policy and OT security policy.
Okay.
So these kind of policies, and there
Great,
are
great.
SOPs, like just
A lot of
add
standard
on.
operating procedures are there. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me ask a simple question from you that you want to configure your firewall. So in that case, do you have any specific policy for that?
Um, it basically comes under SOP, not under
Okay, you
policies,
have
if you
created
think
a
so.
SOP. So
Yeah.
that is not an issue, but you must have conceptualized that thing and implemented now
Yeah.
already. So that is very
So
important.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like part of some part we have taken under IT policy as well, but
Mhm.
like in detail and everything, we have created a SOP, like what kind of configuration we have and everything. But a broader level we have mentioned under policy, not
Yeah.
the generic.
So do you know why you have created so much of SOPs?
Uh, I mean SOPs just to have those procedure and uh, a procedure in place so that anybody basically it should be a process dependent, not
Yeah.
a person dependent. So we have created SOP, so tomorrow if there's a change or somebody wants to walk through, understand what
Yes,
exactly
yes.
we did
Now
or
you have
something, so
given a
that
very
way.
good point that I am also want to come on, because when we need to change something, it's very hard to change the policy, isn't it? But very
Yes,
easily you can change the SOP. It's easy to change the SOP.
easy to change that.
Yeah, this is very important that I want to focus on to you, to all the guys. Thanks for sharing this very informative thing with all the participants, because standard operating procedure should be defined in policy. They should be only defined in policy, but I recommend do not explain and detail all the things in the policy. For small petty issues, you create standard operating procedures so that it can change easily. Otherwise, if
Easy.
you define each and everything in policy, every time you need to go to your board of director,
Approval.
yeah, for approval process. Because SOP can be, how you are changing the SOP at your end, sir?
I mean, yearly, we are just reviewing. So twice in a year or once in a year, we are reviewing
So
and
probably your
changing those.
CISO is empowered to change the SOP. I think so. It's easy.
Yes.
Yeah, but policy, this whole policy cannot be changed by CISO.
Yeah.
For
Has to be
this,
approved by
you
the
need a
apex
CEO approval, your chief executive
CEO.
officer. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is very important. So that's why I want to share and make you people focus that why you need specific policies. This is the same way when we are talking about device specific, when we are talking about this system specific security policy. So this system specific security policy can be termed as a standard operating procedure also, or because you do not need to change the original policy. Okay, you do not need to change the original policy. You can change and give some little bit changes just into the SOP or your system specific security policy, so that the whole policy will not get effective. Okay. So
Agree.
that's why let us talk. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
Yeah. So now we will be talking about ISO. I think some ISO concepts we have already talked yesterday. So let us talk what are some basic ISO standards we have. Like we have ISO 27000. Basically, it's an information security management system overview and vocabulary. When you talk about 27,000, it is talking about overview and vocabulary. What are the vocabularies? What are the terms going to use? 27,001 is our certifiable standard. 27,002 is our, tell me. We have discussed lot of
Guiding documents.
implementation guidance. Yeah.
The present guideline.
Yeah, guidelines, implementation guidance in there. Then in 27,002, you will be getting management system implementation guidance specifically. Then in 27,004, you will be getting information security management measurement, how you are performing, measurement part is there. Then in 27,001 is 27,005 specifically, risk management is the important part. And can anybody tell which is the other ISO I have talked yesterday about risk management?
31,000.
Yes, 31,000. So 31,000 is also important part, and 31,000 should work in accordance and in relation with 27,001. So when you are doing risk management, so you should recommend and consult 31,000. You must consult ISO 27,005 also. Okay. So these two standards you need to take care of. Then in 27,006 you need to take care of your bodies providing audit and certification. Okay, so it is written here. I'm not going to talk a lot. You will be getting this PPT. What I'm going to today focus is this. This is a very important part. I think we have already covered this thing. That what are the steps into the ISMS implementation and what are the deliverables. Can anybody confirm? I think we have covered this thing. Do you want to repeat me this thing or shall I go ahead?
Please repeat.
I think
Okay.
better to repeat.
Okay. So I will repeat it. So in this 27,001, basically this is a roadmap that how you going to achieve ISO 27,001. So what is the very important part of a ISO 27,001 is obtain management support. Basically, it's a approval that your management is inclined to have a ISO 27001 certification, then you will establish a project. For every step, a deliverable is written here. So to establish a project, what can be the deliverable? Deliverable can be your project plan. It can be your budget. It can be your human resource plan, that how many people are going to work on it. Then you have to find the requirement, that what are the requirements. So for requirements, the deliverable will be list of interested parties, your legal regulatory framework, and your contractual requirements, because this is important part of a requirement. Then you too need to create a scope, management, intention, and responsibility, that how your management is having an intention to implement the same, and what is the scope. Like some ma'am from NTPC yesterday asked that they have separate plans, so shall we go for a single certification, or we should go for a multiple for each and every site. So it's all depend on your scope, that what are the scope you are taking. You can jot down the scope in a single way, or also you can make a separate scope for each and every thing. Okay, so it all depends on you, that how you are going to take care of it. Okay. Now, after this defining the scope, there is a implement support procedures, like procedure for document control, internal audit, corrective action. So basically, this is none but this is the gap analysis, that how you are doing and what is expected. Then you must design the process of risk assessment and treatment. For this, you need to have a risk assessment methodology and risk assessment criteria. So everybody know about this risk acceptance criteria? We have discussed yesterday. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Then we have to perform the risk assessment and treatment. So what will be the deliverable for this? We have risk assessment table, risk assessment, risk treatment table, risk assessment and risk treatment report. So these are the mandatory parts, mandatory documents, I would say. And if anybody has already ISO certified, he must be knowing that the auditor will be asking for these tables from you. Risk assessment table, risk treatment table, risk assessment report, and also these are the things the person is asking. Okay. Then develop a security profile of a company, which is nothing but a SOA. We have talked about SOA, that what is a SOA. SOA is nothing but a list of all the controls that are being implemented and actually applicable on your organization, and if sub control is not applicable onto your organization, you can exclude it, but with proper justification. So one quick question to you: can a clause be excluded in ISO?
No.
Okay, good. Clause cannot be
No,
excluded.
sir.
Only,
Clauses are mandatory.
yeah, clauses are mandatory. Controls can be excluded with proper justification. Okay, good. So after this, you got an SOA. accepted residual risk and develop a plan to control implementation. Then you must have a risk treatment plan, acceptance of residual risk. So these all deliverables that I am talking here, na, they are probably mandatory. So an auditor can ask all of things. Then you implement all required controls. So you need a record of implementation, that whether you have properly implemented these things or not. Perform training and awareness, which can be proved through a training record. Operate the ISMS means you are operationalizing the information security management into your system. It means you are implementing the controls. So various records required by ISMS documents should be taken care of. Then you should take some internal audit. Internal audit is basically done by your internal team, so that you can measure that how your people are doing and how the things are going on. Then you have what can be the deliverable for that. The deliverable should be an internal audit report, and what are the corrective actions, because in internal audit report some NCs will be observed. What are the NCs? Are basically non-compliances, that the organization is not adhering to the ISO 27001. Then we have a management review. In management review, we must share the MOM, the minutes of meeting of the management review. Then after that, we go for a stage 1 certification audit, and then we have a stage 2 certification audit, which is a main audit. So this is the major steps we used to take care of in 27001. So my question is that on which step, if I number these steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on which step the formulation of IT security policy is required? Tell me. At which step the information security policy is required? I have numbered the steps.
I think 4.
Yeah, perfect. And
4
if you
and 5.
say, yeah, four is the correct answer, because when you are defining the scope, your management intention responsibilities are there, and as a deliverable, you are getting information security policy. Because when you are implementing the support procedures, the implementation guidance should be available in the information security policy. So that's why it is very much important that information security policy can be the baseline for your ISO implementation. Okay, so now you are going to understand that why this ISO implementation, in ISO implementation, the role of security policy is very important. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I will be talking on some very important topic, this security, spheres of security. Have you ever seen this spheres of security, this diagram?
No, sir.
Yeah, so I would love to tell you that you should concentrate on this figure first. You concentrate on this figure first. Okay. So what you are seeing here, you able to see that the information is in the core of the diagram. If you see the earth, na, there is a core inside. Okay. In the same thing, in this sphere, the information is in the core, and who is going to access it? Tell me.
People.
People.
People are going to access it. People are going to access it. Okay. So in this case, you can see this half sphere is directly accessible through people. Okay. But if a person, because these people are basically insiders or employees, and they have a access to information. But when we talk about external parties, if we jot down and talk on this area, when we talk on the external parties should land on the internet. Then through internet they are using some networks to reach the systems, and that these systems will be sharing the information to this end user. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if this person is having this sword, so how many attempts he need to go inside? he need to break this internet, he need to break this network, he need to break this system, then he will go inside. Yes or no? But the person who is insider, who is a pupil in working in a data center, he has a direct access to information. Okay, so who is the most vulnerable part of this whole system?
Insider.
Yes, insider. Yes, insider is the correct answer. Okay, so what we are generally speaking, the sphere of security represent the facts that information is under attack from a variety of sources. Okay, the sphere of use that you are seeing on your left side illustrate the way in which people can directly access information. For example, people read hard copies of document. They also access information through systems such as the electronic storage. They can access the NAS and all. So in this way, the people is accessing. So if we say information as the most important asset to security is illustrated as a core of the sphere, as we have already discussed. So information is always at risk from attacks through the people and computer system. They have that have direct access to the information. Network and the internet represent indirect threats. Okay. So as you can see that this is the direct threat and this is the indirect threat, and as the level of access information will be increasing, the threat will be increasing. Okay, so now what we can do is we can do this is called sphere of use, because how we are using the information, and this sphere is called sphere of protection. Okay, sphere of use and sphere of protection. So everybody must is able to understand our first part is sphere of use. Tell me.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is sphere of protection? It's basically illustrating that between each layer of sphere of use, there must exist a layer of protection to prevent access to the inner layer from the outer layer. Okay, let me repeat once. There should be a layer between the existing layer to prevent access to the inner layer from the outer layer, and each shaded band is a layer of protection and control. Okay, so let us suppose this is a information. Okay, and this is a system. So if system want to access the information, there is a layer between. Okay, and this layer we called it as a access controls. Understood? If network, okay, if network want to talk with system, there is a layer access control. If internet want to talk to network, there is again a layer. Okay, if internet want to talk to network, there is a layer. What this layer is talking about? Is talking about firewalls. It's talking about network IDPS. It is talking about proxy servers. Okay, understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is a very good diagram. You can understand that what are the different layers. So if network want to talk with systems, what can be the middleman? We need to take care of patches and upgrades. We need to take care of monitoring. We need to take care of redundancy. Okay, but in this case, in this pupil case, what is the layer? The layer is about education and training. The layer is about policy and law. The layer is about security planning. So again, policy is playing a pivot role in this. This is a very important thing that I need to discuss with you people today. That sometimes we got confused at what layer we should provide what layer of security. Okay, so backup should be between. Tell me where we require backups. When we talk about backup should be between system and information. Is it fine? Understood? Are you able to relate now what I am talking about? Yes
Yes.
or no?
Yes.
What about other participants? Any confusion in
Yes,
this?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
No,
this
sir.
is a simple analogy, and it's a very old analogy. I have also learned many years before, but this is a important thing that is focusing on a part that to handle the insiders, to handle the people, you require a policy. Because until unless you do not have a policy, always there is a issue in this spheres of security. And in fact, the resources of people must become a layer of security, a human firewall that protects the information from authorized access and rule. Because if you make people aware, they can you can treat them as a human firewall. Okay, they can work as a firewall because they understand your organization requirement, they understand your security issues and all. Okay, so this is very important to understand this spheres of security. So I think today we have discussed a lot about the different type of policies. We are not talking on type of, we have basically focused today on type of policies, that what type of policies are, how many policies are there, like backup policy, system configuration policy. We are not focusing on that, but we are focusing on the fact that why the policy is important and how you going to formulate it. So I think if there any question, you can share with me. Yeah. So is there any question?
Hi sir, good evening. Vikram this side. Sir, I have a question regarding that component we have discussed in ISSP, the limitation on liabilities. So can you explain that once more?
Sir, limitation and liabilities, I would love to explain that when you need to implement a particular control on a specific target, then you need to set up a limitation to it, that these are the limitations, and a certain liability will also occur related to that limitation, because you are breaching some policy. Like I've explained you that in every 6 months you need to have a VAPT, and due to some zero day attack, you are not able to execute that VAPT in a certain time. So now, if in reference to the policy, you will find that particularly if the policy saying that in every 6 months, if a VAPT is not completed, then the person who is responsible for the VAPT should be penalized. So in this case, you must be penalized. So that's why some relaxation in the penalties and liabilities should be there. So that's why these things should be covered. Otherwise, if because now bigger organizations are running on policies and they must like penalize you that you have not done this and that you have not done VAPT on time. So in that case, when you are talking about the issue specific policy or system specific policy, then you must take care of these things. Okay, is it understood now?
Yes, sir. Means this should be the part of policies, not as per the part of SOP.
No, 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 it should be the part of policy, na? Because
Understood.
otherwise your organization will penalize you that you have not done VAPT on time. That's why issue specific policies should be generated, and it should supersede with the system, with the original ICS policy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, here, uh, sir, is there any in episode because one for contractual stuff?
Sir, it all depends on your organizational need that you want to cover your contractual staff into that. But definitely, when you are signing a non-disclosure agreements with your OEMs, so they are also covered under this policy, because you cannot exclude the contractual staff with your policy governance, because at the end of the day they are working on your systems, and most of the places you find that OEMs are taking care of the data centers and all. So the contractual staff should be the part of this.
Okay, because nowadays many companies are hiring contractual staff. So data leakage is happened by them also.
Raji, your voice is not properly audible. Can you please repeat your question?
majority company right now hiring contractual staff more.
Mm-hmm.
So data leakage is more on their side also. So ISO can define any policies or any controls for that.
No, yes, definitely. When we are talking on ISO 27001, there are specific controls. They are talking that the contractual people should be covered under this policy framework. It is specified there.
Okay. So that is depends on our company what we can follow or we can what we proceed for our.
Definitely, it's a company call, and if a person is working on a critical asset, definitely he should be complying to the organization security policy, and that should be the part of your non-disclosure agreement when you are signing any contract with some third parties.
Right, sir, right. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Sir, IT Act 2008 is it is free for everyone.
Sir, it is a legal right to read the IT Act. You can download it from internet. It is free of cost.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
looking for that thing right now.
Yeah, sure. I will ask CBIB people. They will also share it with you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
And if someday I got a chance, I will
Sure, sir.
definitely take a class on IT Act because I am also a law graduate. I am a LLB, and I have specified done my optional as cyber law. So
Okay.
I definitely want to share more insights about IT Act. That what are the beauty of IT Act? There are a
Yeah,
lot of things in IT Act. Yeah, definitely I will take some time.
that is
Yeah.
also helpful all the participants.
Yeah, because knowing the legal aspect of thing is very important.
Right, sir.
Thank you, Parag.
Sir, we have a specific requirement in one project for the SCADA application. It is like to get a cyber crime clearance certificate. Is that anything related to the cyber security related, or is it something different, sir?
Sir, can you please repeat your question?
Sir, I have a SCADA requirement for a metro package. So there it has been indicated cyber crime clearance certificate to be obtained.
Okay,
So
from where you need to obtain it?
that is not clear, sir. But the
Actually,
contract
in
talks about.
IT Act 2008, there is no such certificate specified cyber crime clearance certificate, to be very frank. I
Okay.
have studied all the clauses and articles of it. So you must ask that person who is asking for that certificate. Maybe it's some local authority because sometimes there are state regulations, and I don't know from which state you are. So maybe there is some state regulation who is asking for and issuing this certificate. So you can check with the local regulation. That's why while formulating the policies, understanding the legal and local regulation is also an important part.
This is basically for Chennai. We are from Chennai.
Yeah, so
So
maybe
as
your state has issued some local regulation regarding that. So you can check it out with the local regulations.
okay, fine, sir.
Yeah. Anything anyone more want to ask? Or we should close the session. Because I used to start the camera at the end of the class.
I think that's all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Islam. Thank
Yeah, we
you.
can close this session, sir. If there's
Sure,
no
sure.
further question.
Sure, Akshay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you for
sir.
your time.
Yeah, bye guys. Thanks for time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Bye
you very
bye.
much, sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.